Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. You have landed on KiOfKai TV, your home for the healthiest, wealthiest, happiest, and wholesome information out there. Thank you so much for stopping by and, just diving in with me today. So, today we're going to talk about one of my favorite things. I'm going to discuss with you four of the most important books. I have so much more, but four of the most important books that have literally changed my life, saved me. I'm gonna say these books have saved my life. So if you're curious to know what they are and my take away from these books, stick around. Okay, so before we go anywhere, I want you to hit that subscribe button down below. Hit it. And then when you hit it, hit the bell beside the subscribe button. That bell will turn on your notifications and allow you to never ever miss out on anything that I post for you guys, because I'm trying to up my post game and bring you the most useful information to help change your life so that you can start living healthier and happier. Okay, so I'm gonna begin. I'm gonna start in no particular order, but kind of an order. So I'm gonna give you a backstory as to how these books, how I became so intrinsically wrapped up in these particular books and how they helped me on my journey. Okay, so the first book I'm going to introduce to you guys is, yes, honeys, The Law of Attraction. This is where, I'm sure you've all heard it's all about the law of attraction, hashtag law of attraction. This is where it came from. These guys are the originator in modern day. They're not the originator because law of attraction has been around from the beginning of time, but they put it in layman terms in a book that everyone could understand. If you have, I wish I had, okay, I'll do another book review because I have so many yummy books and so many juicy information that will help you guys live a better life. And I can share with you all the wonderful things these books have helped me with, and help me on my journey to growth and spirituality. So this book in particular, I discovered in 2000 and I think it was 2006. 2006. And I remember I was working at this job where I was miserable. I can't even stress you how miserable I was. I was so unhappy. I would walk home. It was close to my home because I don't really like to work really far from my home because I like to get home quickly. Hence why working for myself from home now is the best deal of life, guys. So I digressed. So I was walking home every day, and my partner at the time, his sister, gave me access to her Audible account, and I started to listen to this book. Can I tell you how a lot of what was inside the book was a bit foreign to me, but I listened every day on my walk home. I listened religiously. I listened, and the more I listened, the more the information got clear to me, and I started to apply it to my life, and I started to really understand its power and how I could use it to start living a better life. And I started to become aware of my thoughts and my role in my life, and how I was causing some of the things to show up that were not really good. You know what I mean? Like things that were making me unhappy. Through my thought processing and my thought patterns, I was creating these things in my life. Oh my God, golden. But that didn't help me stop creating those things right away. Up till this day, I still struggle, but I'm hyper aware of my thoughts, which is really cool. When you do the work, you become aware so that you can catch yourself non-judgmentally catch yourself, and then step back and be like, oh, okay, that's what's happening in my mind. I'm creating that. Let me just step back. Let me correct this. Let me allow it to just float on by. So this book in particular was amazingly awesome because it taught me that, again, I was in control of my thoughts. And whatever we think about, we manifest. We attract it. And whenever you're thinking about something, deeply thinking about something, positive or negative, you feel it in your bones. We're not talking about, oh, yeah, I wish I could go to France, or I wish I could go to Botswana, and you blow it off. No, we're talking about, oh my God, I wish I could go to Botswana and, go on a safari and play with the animals, like feeling it, that emotional attachment to that thought and that want and that desire. That is what the connection between your thought patterns, it fires up your it fires up the neurons in your brains to connect, because your brain doesn't know the difference between you thinking about something versus you actually doing that thing. It's the same thing once you attach emotions to it. So when I learned that in this book, I was like, oh my God, right now, that's how it works. Okay. But again, if you're used to behaving in a habitual pattern, it's hard, if you're unaware, to catch yourself. But once you start to catch yourself, you start to move down a new and better path to creating better feeling thoughts, new ideas, new feelings, and new attractions. And that's the most yummy and juicy thing about this. And so that's what I learned in this book, and I highly recommend this book. Up till this day, 2018, I still have it in my iPod, my phone. Who has that anymore? But I have it in my phone, and I listen to it. I refer back to it because these teachings and practices will never go away. So in the book is written by Esther and Jerry Hicks. And Esther, in particular, she channels a non-entity called Abraham. And Abraham is a collective swarm of souls and spirits. For those of you who are unaware of the metaphysical. So everything in life is energy. Thoughts and souls and spirits, they're all energy. After you leave this body, there's still the spirit, there's still the soul. So they are somewhere in the ethers, and that collective cluster of a whole bunch of souls came together and created this one structure called Abraham. And they named themselves Abraham so that we humans can understand the concept of what they are. So anyways, they speak through Esther, who channels what they're saying and translates it into words. So she does many talks, she has written books, she does seminars, and some of you may be aware and familiar with the teachings of Esther and Jerry Hicks, Abraham in particular, but also some of you may know of Seth. There was this woman prior to Esther named Jane Roberts, who channeled a non-entity being named Seth. So, same idea. So yeah, these entities bring knowledge and insight to everything we already know, but they kind of just put it in some layman terms that you're like, oh, okay, I get it. So if you don't know them, please go check them out. There's tons of stuff on YouTube about them, and you can just go to their website. The second up. Okay, so the next two books I manifested in my life because I was going through a really tough breakup. It was like one of the hardest things I think I've ever had to deal with, emotionally had to deal with in my life. And I required some real help, because I don't know how I would have gotten through it if I didn't have help from, you know, the energetic force that is God. I don't know. It was brutal for me. So I remember going into a store and seeing this book that I'm going to share with you, and I just knew it was for me. But the funny thing is, prior to finding the book, I saw the DVD. You know, there was a DVD that came out. Can't share it with you. The Secret. The Secret had a DVD, and everybody was it was going around, being shared amongst people. You know, underground sharing. So people would burn the CD. Remember CDs, guys? People would burn the CDs and share it amongst each other. And my partner and I came upon this CD and we watched it. It was cool. Like, it was all right. But I didn't connect with it on a deep level because it was very, like, theatrical. You know, like, ah, da, da. And I was like, oh, okay, like, oh, sure, cool. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah. I connected more with what the bleep, you know, do we know? But anyways, back to The Secret. I had just gone through a really tough breakup, and I was out with one of my close friends. We were out and she was trying to, like, lift my spirits, and we walked into a used bookstore, and I wanted this book, believe it or not. I walked into the used bookstore, and behind the counter was this book sitting there. And I was like, huh, excuse me, how much is that book? And the guy, you know, he turns around, he looks at me, he's like, oh, that one? I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh, he pulls it down and he opens it up. Yeah, I still have, like, it marked because I go through it. I always go through my books. And the book is normally, I think it retails for, it's not even here. Oh my God, it's not even here. Oh, yep, it retails in Canada for $30. That's plus tax. And I don't know if you guys, I still have, see, what's that? $12. I still have this sticker on because, you know, it's just proves my point. So this book was in his store for $12. No tax, just $12. So I was like, oh, may I see that? He gives it to me. I look through, I see the price, and I'm like, I want this book. I'm gonna buy it right now. So I bought it, went home, and dove in. I could not put this down. Like, it made me cry. Crying, releasing. You know, crying is such a good thing. It allows you to release, you know. And I love crying, but I've always felt guilty for crying because people have judged me in the past, you know. Oh, you're so weak, or oh my God, we're crying again, Jesus, get over yourself. So it made me feel bad, when in fact I know in my soul that crying's a good thing. Tears, water is release, you know, it's cleansing. That's what I tell my clients. Cry, let it out. But funny, you know, something that we struggle with. So anyways, I digress again. So I took this book home and I, like, dove in, and it just saved my life. It allowed me to see that nothing really was a secret, and it played off of. So all of the stuff in this book came from this, the teachings of Abraham, the law of attraction. So this author went to their seminar. It was a boat cruise, or I guess a cruise. Yeah, and learned the information, then came back, took the information and created that DVD, and then turned it into a book. So it made sense to me, right? Because I knew I had a base of where it originated from, for me. And I just, like, sopped it up like it was sugar. I'm obsessed with sugar. I just ate it up, and it like literally touched my soul and saved me. And, you know, what I learned from this book in particular is it helped me to remember that I, Kerry-Ann Ingram, is in control of my thoughts. Me. No one else. Me. And what I think about, I'm so sorry, guys. You're gonna hear scratching, a little pause. That's my little doggy, walking around, trying to get attention because I'm speaking to you guys. So I apologize. Yeah, so I learned that I am in control of my thoughts. And when I focus on something negative or unpleasant, I'm going to create more of that. And then it woke up the awareness in me that if you don't want it in your life, don't think about it. Don't. If it comes in, which it will, because we're all, slaves to habitual patterns, right? So habitually, habit forming, it will pop up. Now, when it does, you need to be aware, and you need to sit in the place of awareness to recognize that that thought isn't real. It's there, but it's not real. Your reality is joy. So that's what I played on. I was like, I am a joy being. I create wonderful, harmonious, loving experience. I'm grateful for my life. And that's another thing. It really, really focuses in on being grateful, practicing gratitude. I would get up, literally get up in the mornings, fling my feet over the bed, sometimes not even, just lie there and be like, thank you, God, for waking me. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful to be alive. And then I would go in the bathroom and be like, I'm so great, washing my face. I'm so grateful I could feel my face. I'm so grateful I have teeth to chew my food. And just go through the whole process. I used to, just stare in the mirror and focus on every part of my body. So, my face. So I would give gratitude to my lips, give gratitude to my nose, give gratitude to my eyes, my ears, my cheeks, my eyelashes, my eyebrows, everything. Because in so doing, I started to really find joy and appreciation and comfort in who I was. Because whenever we go through tough situations, we tend to allow it to break us, and we no longer believe that we are perfectly whole human beings. We think that we are not good enough, that we are undesirable. We're not, worthy. And that still happens to me. I'm not gonna lie. I went through, another breakup, like life goes. And that broke me again. And I was like, what the hell? But this time I was able to do this quicker, because I have been doing the work. And that's what we need to do. When you do the work, you're able to tap into your soul enhancing toolbox. You like that, eh? Toolbox, and pull out the relevant tool that you need to help you get out of that certain situation. And that's what I did. And I was like, okay, all right. That was easy. And it gets easier. So again, I highly recommend this book, The Secret, by Rhonda, because it has some really, really useful and powerful tools and exercises in it that helps us to remember who we are, how to focus in on the mind, and it's in some plain, easy terms to understand. So, The Secret. So from The Secret, I then went to, because I finished that, I couldn't put it down. I read it every day. I'll even, look, you can see. Oh, my bad, I'm sorry. I was going to show you something, but it's not there. Okay, so next up, The Celestine Prophecy. Can you see it? Yeah, The Celestine Prophecy. This book I read right after The Secret. So good. So good. So good. So basically the premise is the author gets, summoned, and he goes on an adventure to find these tools, these, secret teachings. And I don't want to give it away because I really want you to read this book. It's so good. Again, I was going through a really tough time, right? And the secret helped, but if you don't continue doing stuff after you've learned one thing, stopped it, you gotta either practice that thing you've learned over and over again or move on to something else that's gonna help you. And I moved on to this book. And I have little notes over here so I don't forget my points. So yeah, after I read this book, I was hyper aware of all the little magical things that happen in our world that is around us, you know, and like flowers, plants, going out and actually seeing, because it teaches you in this book about energy and seeing energy in other things. And I would go out in the backyard and go in the garden and look at the plants, and I would see, you know, the energy. This was before I became a Reiki master. So I was aware of my own energy, but I wasn't aware of my own energy, if that makes sense. I was aware that if somebody pissed me off, I could use this thing inside of me to attack them without physically or verbally attacking them. I could just summon something inside of me and attack them, and they wouldn't know what it is or whatever. And that was, you know, a protective mechanism, because if you are an abused child, excuse me, you can't defend yourself. So you've learned to tap into other parts of your brain and your body and your soul to protect and to defend, you know, on a metaphysical level. So that's where you know, my superpowers started to become heightened, and I started to become aware of them, but not really aware. And we all have this. It's just dormant in us. People who have gone through really traumatic situations, really horrible childhood, abuse, have been able to tap into this easier because you're looking for a way to escape the shit, right? So you tap into this beautiful God energy to help you deal and to help you get out of the yuckiness. Okay, so back to this. The author is James Redfield. So I would read this again every day. And by this time I was in school. So I was in school full time. I went back to school to do my diploma because I did not finish high school. I did not, excuse me, I didn't finish high school, and I didn't graduate college. I went back to college at 18, but at that age, without having a stable home, very hard to complete or even be focused enough to want to finish it. So at 27 years old, I decided I was going to go back to school. I was bent set because I wanted to start a business. I wanted to help female deal with, you know, the heaviness and the abuse and trauma that they went through when they were younger, when they were a child, because that's what I went through. And I learned these tools. So I was like, how can I help people? How can I help these women? Oh, I can start a business. And my business was to open up, you know, a t-shirt. Start creating t-shirts that had positive inspirational message all over them. You know, have them be blessed by Buddhist monk in Cambodia. Have the material be of hemp, you know, which is high quality. But I didn't know how to start a business, so I thought. So I then decided to go back to school, and right before I went back to school, you know, like a month before I went back to school, like for real, a month, sorry, that's my doggy. I had a really traumatic breakup, really traumatic, where I would get up to go to the bathroom and just collapse in the middle of the floor. I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep, I was in pain. I would go through bouts of laughter, bouts of crying, bouts of just being really mad and want to break everything. But I had these books, and I had my best friend, who, I don't call her my best friend now, I call her my sister, because that's what she is. She showed up, and she's always showed up in my life like that. Yeah, like I had 2 women who were my sisters. Come And, you know, the first one, she came and sat with me for a week, maybe even 2 weeks. Like, she stayed with me. And she would just rub my back. She wouldn't say anything if I didn't want to talk. Like, she just knew. And without her, I don't know how I could have survived to get to the point to even get to these books. You know, God put people in your lives who are meant to be there, who are designed to help you on some level. So when you recognize that, you can give total gratitude to that. And I do, you know, like I this dry cough come from, I'm sorry. And the other person, the other, you know, sister friend, she got me out of my house and got me to come to her house. And yeah, cooked for me, told me jokes, you know, made me laugh. And she's the one that I found this book with. And these women are just priceless. There's nothing in the world I could do to repay them. Like, it's just impossible. And they showed up authentically, purely, honestly, because they were acting out of love. Pure, unadulterated love. And I'm forever indebted to them and grateful for them. So you guys, thank you. Thank you so much. You know who you are. Thank you so much. Thank you. So back to these books. So this book allowed me to get out of my own way. You know, overall, get out of my own way and start to live in the present. Be aware of all the magic that was happening. That is happening in my everyday life. I would go for walks. You know, go to the park, go for walks and just stop and stare at the flowers, at the leaves, at the grass, and just stare. And then I started to see like this ray, you know, this beautiful ray coming off of everything. And I would just see it every day. And after reading this book, I'm sorry. This is still very... After reading this book, I received one of the most beautiful gifts. I got a visit. Oh, so sorry. Yeah, I got a visit from eagle. And that was one of the most beautiful experiences. I don't know, I can't explain why it was so beautiful. It just touched my soul, guys. This eagle came. Like, eagles, how often do you see eagles in Canada? Like, are you kidding me? I lived in a condo. Like, are you kidding me? So this was like legit when I finished reading this. Done, commence, got my stuff, did my notes, you know, in school, I have exams. And I was in my living room and something said, look, I had big, gigantic bay windows that overlooked the terrace. And by our window, there was like gravel. You know, decor and stuff, people and their aesthetics. So something said, look, just look outside. So I got up and looked, like nothing, you know. Sometimes you'd hear kids playing out because there is, it's like a deck. You could barbecue out there, whatever. And it overlooked, like legit, overlooked our ravine. I lived by one of our big parks. And I look, and there by the window, like legit by the window, if he did this, he would hit the window. There was this eagle. And I was like, I was frozen. And it was looking back at me. And I was like, oh my God, this is such an incredible experience. I need to go get my camera. Ugh, no, Kerry-Ann, that was the wrong thing to do. You should have just stood and just appreciated the moment. Like, you know, the book, one of the lessons I teach you, appreciate the moment. But I wanted to go capture it so I could share it with people. You know, saying, look, see, look at that. And that wasn't the whole point of it. Oh my God, my eyes, like, guys, what's happening? My eyes are just watering. Like, make it stop. Oh, how do I look? Vain moment. How do I look? Yeah, that was one of the main lessons. Appreciate the moment. And when I went for the camera and came back, it was gone. And I was devastated. Like, I was like devastated. I was like, he came to visit me and I made him go away because I couldn't appreciate the moment. But I learned that, you know, despite all of that, don't be hard on yourself. It is what it is. You still got to see this magnificent bird. How many people can say that they have seen up close an eagle, a massive, gigantic eagle? Like, are you kidding me? And, you know, I did. Like, oh my God, like crazy, right? So, when an eagle appears, do you know, like, the crazy thing? It says, I'm going to read you what it says. When an eagle appears, you are on notice to be courageous and stretch your limits. Do not accept the status quo, but rather reach higher and become more than you believe you are capable. Look at things from a new, higher perspective. Be patient with the present. Know that the future holds possibilities that you may not yet be able to see. You are about to take flight. Are you kidding me? Guys, that was so powerful. Obviously, I went and looked it up because I'm just that type of person. And when you see an eagle, and being a spiritual, you know, person that I am, highly spiritual, I was like, what's the meaning? I have a huge, thick book on dreams, on astrology, you know, birthdays. So, of course. And when I read that, I was like, oh my God, this is an omen, because I was going back to school. As I said, I didn't finish. The highest grade I finished in high school was grade 9. Guys, I did not graduate. I had a really rough childhood, you know. I left home and I moved around. I wasn't stable enough. It's not that I didn't want to. My environment, my home environment wasn't stable. So I couldn't finish. I really wanted to, but I couldn't. And then when I went back to high school as an adult, it didn't work out because, again, I didn't have a stable home environment. And the people I was around, they weren't really, you know, on that path, so to speak. So they didn't see, you know, the value. The one person, the woman who took me in, she did. And she was trying. But there was a lot of other people around that were, you know, it was hard. So after reading this, I was like, so much more in my feeling place, in myself. I was like, oh my God, yes, I'm gonna slay this. Yeah, I didn't graduate from high school. Yeah, I supposedly have a learning disorder. Yeah, I have issues with my spelling. Yeah, so what? I'm gonna figure it out because I have info from the Celestine prophecy, info from the Spirit, like tools from the secret, tools from the law of attraction. I'm gonna go slay it, okay? Guys, I slayed it like nobody's business. I graduated, top of my class. I graduated with honors, which means for 4 consecutive semesters, I had to have had in the high 80s and 90s. Yeah, your girl did it. Your girl did it because I fixed my mindset. My mindset was so focused on achieving greatness only. I had, like, there was no point that I saw myself getting low marks. None. I remember I remember getting like 85 in one class. And I went to the teacher. Legit. This truly happened, guys. I went to the teacher crying. Come, puppy. He's crying. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, I went to my teacher crying. Crying. Like my dog was. Crying. Being like, I don't know why you gave me this mark. I did better. She's like, honey, you know that an 85 is a really good mark. It's not a 90. Like, that was where my mindset was. That was what I would accept for myself. I was sitting here and I wasn't gonna go here, and the universe aligned to make sure that I sat here and not here. Oh my God. So from there, you know, my life, like, I just made everything, and the healing process, you know, getting over and going through what I had gone through was really good. It wasn't a struggle. People wondered, they're like, when are you gonna crack? Like, that's unnatural. I'm like, no, guys, I gave myself legit 3 weeks to grieve. 3 weeks. 3 weeks. That was the worst emotional pain I ever went through, but I only had 3 weeks to grieve and go through it. And I took it, and I grieved, and I went through it, and now it's time to do work, because I got ish to do. And I got it done. I got it done. So, those are the 3 books. I highly recommend them. If you're going through anything in your life, these books will help you navigate the waters effectively. Trust me. I have firsthand experience. Trust me. Okay, and then this book, which is a Bible to me. A Bible. I will never get rid of this. I'll never loan this out. This sits by my bed. So this is the Autobiography of a Yogi, written by Paramahansa Yogananda, who is one of my gurus. He is dead now, but he's my guru. And I study with his spiritual center in California. So it's SRF. So it's Center for Self-Realization, and they teach the practices of yoga, Kriya Yoga in particular, which is the focus of the mind, stilling and studying the mind, you know, focusing on the present, allowing yourself to be in tune with your body, intrinsically in tune with every aspect, every atom, you know, going that deep and that you know, diving that deep into the body, the atomic level, where you are changing the structure, the healing structure on that level, which is powerful. And that's what yoga does. Yoga, and I'm not talking about modernized yoga, which is a strictly focus on pose and posture. It's not, that's a part of it, but that's not the main part of it. The main part of it is the mind, the mental part. Everything in our universe comes about and comes to life through the mind. We create what is in our world through thought, because it can't exist if you don't think it first, right? So this book had so many amazing nuggets, and points and, you know, areas and structures and teachings and procedures and practices and aha moments, and I can go on and on and on about how to live your best life, how to live authentically in your power, you know. And it's spiritually sound information. That's what I'm gonna say. You know, it's just, it allows you to be like disciplined. You become disciplined in learning how to still the mind, how to really communicate with God, truly. And it's funny, for a long time I never liked saying God, because we've humanized the word God so much. And God is such a big, magnificent, energetic, powerful being, you know, that's in everything, that created and controls and, you know, morphs and manifests everything in our physical and non-physical world. So whenever I said God, it just felt so human, like I was saying Bob, and I didn't like that. It didn't feel authentic to me. So I say God now so that others can have an understanding of what I'm talking about. But I generally like to focus on divine. You know, to me, God is a divine, energetic being that is so magnificent, so big, so powerful, so loving, so good, so divine. Like, you just say it and you're like, and that's what this book, his teaching, his experience, his journey through his life, you know, open us up to realizing how powerful this entity that is God is. And when you surrender to this power and trust in this power, your pathway becomes clear and easy to navigate. All the right people, things, situations will come to you. It doesn't mean that you won't struggle. You know, you won't meet up against things that are challenging because you've never done it before. You don't know what the heck is going on, what the heck to do, which direction to go in. But the powerful lesson is knowing that there is a source outside of yourself that's magnificently grandiose, that has your back always and forever, that will align you up with the right people, the right things to get you exactly what you want, need, and desire in life. Get this book. I highly recommend it. So yeah, I have a frog in my throat, guys. Oh my God, I should name him. Yeah, so these books, my tiny little hands can't hold them all, but these books have absolutely saved my life. They saved my life. I love them so much, and I give gratitude to them, and I give gratitude to the people that they have brought me in contact with, put me in contact with, and brought me around. You know, for the people who are still in my life also, who are a part of this journey of learning and growth. Thank you. Now, if you guys have some books that you want to share with me that have helped you on your journey, I would love to hear about them. Please share it in the comments, or share it in on the blog, in the comments on the blog too. But most of all, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Subscribe, turn on the notification, you know, that gray little bell right there. Turn it on so you don't miss out on anything I post. And I appreciate you. I really appreciate you. I appreciate you taking time out of your day to listen to me and to sit with me and to show up always. I really, really, really appreciate you. And I am in deep gratitude for you and your commitment to learning and growing and developing your best life ever. You're on the right path. Just trust that you are in alignment with Source, and that everything that comes into your pathway is meant to be. There is a lesson, there is a reason for everything that you encounter, people, things, or situation, everything. Even if it doesn't feel good, look for the lesson, because I'm gonna tell you, sister or brother, I'm gonna tell you that there's deep, deep, powerful lessons in everything that you encounter. It's to help you become your best self ever. Okay, so thank you again for showing up. I love you guys so much, so much, and I can't wait to interact with you soon. If you liked this video, please hit the like, let me know how much you liked it, and loved it, I will appreciate that, or I do appreciate that. So I'm going to sign off, but before I go, I just want you guys to remember that you are each and every one of you are individual lights sent here to enhance someone's world, individual world. You know, we never know what people are going through. So I encourage you to go out there and be the light in the world of someone today, tomorrow, and every day. Just show up. Be authentically bright and positive, and, you know, enhance their world today and always. I love you much, and I'll see you soon. Bye.